Hi there, this is a question from 2016 Exam 2, question 5 in the Geometry and Trigonometry section. So a golf course has a sprinkler system that waters the grass in the shape of a sector, as shown in the diagram below. So we've got our shape here. A sprinkler is positioned at point S and can turn 100 degrees. The shaded area on the diagram is the area the grass is watered by the sprinkler. If 147.5 meters squared of grass is watered, what is the maximum distance in d meters that the water can reach from S? So what we're trying to find in this is the length of d, which this is a radius, and they've actually used the word sector. So if we go to our notes from chapter 19, we've got the formula for area of a sector, and we can manipulate this formula to solve for the R. So if we go back to here, our formula is the area is pi r squared times theta over 360. So if we place all the information into this formula that we have, and then we can rearrange it and manipulate it to find our value for r. In this case, it's d. So in the information, we've got 147.5 is equal to pi times d squared, because d is what we're trying to find. Make sure you include the square, times angle, which is 100, over 360. The other formula that is given, and you've got to make sure that you don't incorrectly use it, is the arc length. So the formulas are very, very similar. So we've got this one and this one. Make sure that you're using it correctly. So the area has over 360, and it's also got the square on there. Don't forget to put that in, because that can be the difference of getting it right and wrong. All right, let's manipulate this. So let's work up here. We need to move that 360 over, so we need to multiply by 360. So it would be left. So we would have 53,100. Sorry, equals pi times d squared times 100. Now we can move, whenever you've got a multiplication like this, we can move pairs of things over even though they're not next to each other, because this could be pi times 100 times d squared. So we can divide by pi times 100 and move that together across. So if we do this divided by pi times 100, we would get the answer of, let's have a look, 169.02, and this would be d squared would be left. So to get to that number, what I've done is gone 53,100 divided by pi times 100. So I've taken that and that together, and hopefully you can manipulate that yourself. If you are struggling with doing these sorts of calculations, you can use your CAS calculator, place this whole formula in into the solve function, and use the solve function by putting comma and the variable you're trying to find. Back to the question, we've got a square, we need d to be by itself, so the opposite of a square is a square root, so we'd square root 169.02, and d would equal 13.00. So checking the answer is to the nearest meter, it would equal 13 meters. Let's have a look at the assessor's comment for this one. 48% of the cohort only managed to get the full mark for this, where average was 0.5, so pretty much half the cohort either got it or they didn't. And I think that where that might have come from is using the incorrect formula. So they've actually stated here this was usually due to the incorrect formula for the circumference. So making sure that you're double checking which formula you were using, and making sure that you're using it correctly and manipulating it correctly. As I said, in the calculator you can use the solve function. So this can be found in your main menu under keyboard, and over here is the solve function. So when you place that in, make sure that when you put your formula in, at the end of it you press a comma and the variable that you are trying to find if it was in the formula. So if we give an example, x squared equals 9, we put a comma and the x for the variable, and we can solve it like so using the solve function. Hopefully this has helped you with this type of question for area of a sector.